So this song, this Heart of Worship, this great song that we sang, was written by Matt Redman. And I think many of you have probably heard of him. Now, the song Heart of Worship is probably one of the very first contemporary Christian songs written. I mean, it's that old, from the 90s. And so he did this song. He was in his church in Watford, England. And in the church, the pastor started feeling like the people weren't singing with their hearts anymore. They had a big worship team. They were very modern and cutting edge in their worship. And he felt like something was missing. We're not doing it right anymore. And so what he began to do was he announced to the church, and he said, guys, we're stopping. Ministry team is going on leave. No more worship leaders. Sound system, we're cutting it off. We're not using it. Air conditioning, no, he didn't take away the air conditioning. Some of you wish he would. But he said, we're not doing it. We're going to come in church and we're going to sing a cappella. He said, because we're missing something. We're doing something. And he said, we don't have the heart of worship. We have forgotten why we gather together and sing these songs. And you can imagine how awkward it would be. Coming to a church that had a full-blown worship team and just everything cutting edge at the time, and then go down to nothing and singing a cappella. It was awkward for them. But then they started getting into it. And they kind of started getting back to the basics and the heart of worship. And they remembered why they worshiped to begin with. And so eventually the pastor started reintroducing the worship leaders, instruments, and the sound system. And they brought the lights back in. And they did it slowly over time. But now the worship was completely different, because it was really, from the testimony of the people there, it was really coming from the heart. And it made a difference. And so shortly after that, Matt Redman states that he went home and in his bedroom and just sat down in one sitting and wrote that song that we sang right before the preaching. And he states that he was simply trying to capture the experience in that church, what happened in the life of those people. And so he shared the song with his pastor, that same pastor. And the pastor said, man, we got to include that in our worship service. That's amazing. So they started singing it in their worship service. Then pretty soon, other churches in their area began to hear about this song that God was using. And they began asking for permission to use the song, and it became part of their worship service. And then it just grew and grew. It grew from the UK, came to the United States. This whole I'm coming back to the heart of worship song took on a life of its own. Pastors were writing letters to Matt Redman and telling him what the experience that their church was having and how people were coming back to the heart of worship. Now, don't worry, we're not taking away instruments. I'm not going to ask you to sing a cappella on a Sunday night. We're not getting rid of the sound system. I want you to pause for just a minute, for just a moment, right now. And Scott's going to sing the verse and the chorus to that song. And I want you to listen to it. Just listen. Don't sing. Listen.
When the music fades and all is stripped away, and I simply come, longing just to bring something that's a word that will bless your heart. I'll bring you more than a song, for a song in itself is not what you have required. I'm such much deeper within. Through the way things appear, you're looking into my heart. I'm coming back to the heart of worship, and it's all about you. It's all about you, Jesus. I'm sorry, Lord, for the thing I've made it, but it's all about you. It's all about you, Jesus.
You know, I mentioned a few moments ago that in the book of Nehemiah, We had workers and watchers, and then here we see worshipers. We'll never be good workers. We'll never be good watchers until we're good, honest, sincere worshipers who worship God with a clean hands, a pure heart, and a heart that desires to worship God. Will you pray with me? Father God, we thank you so much